All right, Kevin back with you. And last week I told you about this painful experience I had when I had hired this mentor and I flew down to Texas to meet with him. And when I started telling him about my situation and how my business was lagging and things were just not going as well as they used to, we had this deep dive discussion. And he let me know that it was really all on me. It was my own fault that I had to take responsibility for my situation and yeah, that hurt. Like I shared with you last week, that hurt. But you know what? I really took what he said to heart, and now I'm really excited to tell you about what happened next because this would have been in let me see. February of 2013. I had met with him in November of 2012. So in February of 2013, he and I were actually at a big seminar together back in Washington, D.C. And there was probably, I don't know how many people, maybe 800 people at this event. And during the course of that event, I ended up connecting with a whole lot of people and just made a whole lot of relationships that's, they actually began at that event, rekindled some old relationships and got some new things going. And of course, a lot of business ended up coming out of that event. And in fact, it really set the tone for that year in 2013. And at the end of that event, the third and final day of that event, my mentor and I, we were having lunch that afternoon, and he was just, pointing out that, Kev, I was noticing you this weekend and how you were interacting with people. And she was just very interesting because a lot of times in conversations, you'll see, one person really talking and engaged in the conversation, while the other person is like not engaged, but rather they're engaged and trying to figure out how they can get away from the conversation. But what was interesting about you is every conversation I saw you in over the last 3 days, both you and the person you were talking with were completely engaged. And I got to tell you, it was he was right, and it was a really interesting experience. And it wasn't that I necessarily. I mean, yeah, I guess I had thought about it a little bit that I was going to take responsibility. But the question he asked me next, he's like, Kevin, what do you think about this whole experience that you've had this last 3 days? And I'm like, you know what, Jesse? I was like, I really like the new me. And he kind of chuckles and he's like, Kevin, he's like, this isn't the new you. This is the real you. This is just who you are. And this is just how you show up. and it occurred to me that like he was right. And what I found out was like, that I really did want to do great things, but I was focused so much on, I don't know whether it was like what wasn't working right or what have you, the things that were going wrong in my life, but I was focusing on the wrong things. I was definitely not focusing on what I wanted. And also just being me in the moment, not worrying about what anybody thinks about me, that just, hey, I'm going to be who I am and I'm going to show up the way that I show up. I mean, look at me. I mean, even here, I mean, I don't dress up in most cases. When I go to seminars, I mean, I'll wear a button-up shirt, but you know what? The last time I was in a suit and tie, can't even remember. I mean, when my daughter got married a couple of years ago, I rented a tux for that ceremony. But for the most part, you won't catch me in a suit and tie because that's not who I am. And see, you show up being who you are and being your authentic, powerful, and clear self, and people respond to you as well. And whether you're offering whatever it is that you're offering for sale in your business, whether you're trying to get cooperation and collaboration from others, when you are just yourself and just be who you are and who you were put on this earth to be, you get amazing cooperation from others in all aspects. So that's what I wanted to share with you this week. And so, go out there, do your thing, be yourself, because it's okay. It's okay to be who you are. And will you turn some people off? Sure. I mean, we can't relate with everybody, but just be yourself and realize that who you are is enough, that you already have everything that you need to be a massive success in life and in business. That's it for this week. Talk with you later.